from Chicago and the Philippines. A comprehensive review of the week's special community events, featuring many exciting personalities, handled by the most professional Chicago Philippine Reports TV staff.
Good afternoon and welcome to Chicago Philippine Reports TV, still the #1 in all the Filipino shows in the Midwest. And I'm Joe Mauricio. Today we have all the top stories from Chicago and the Philippines. We also have our segment host, Veronica, interesting interviews with Melody Rabor Dizon, our Health Matters host, and Joe Mauricio, myself. And I would like to introduce to you Janet Jordy, our new host from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, introducing her Global Inspirations interviews. We also have happening within our own Filipino community here in Chicago. All these are coming up and more from our sponsors. Please stay with us.
Marami na po tayong napaalis, about almost 300 na.
One by one, the President mentioned on nationwide television Monday night the names of Bureau of Internal Revenue personnel accused of corruption in his weekly public briefing. But when it came to lawmakers from the House of Representatives, he held back. He revealed there is a list of legislators submitted by the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission who allegedly received commissions from government projects. But instead of naming them, as he did with other government employees, he said he would rather pass the list to the Office of the Ombudsman.
Let's go to political law. I have no business investigating congressmen. They belong to a separate organ of government.
Justice Secretary Menado Guevara immediately clarified the agencies under him or even the PACC itself can still investigate and even mention the names of lawmakers.
I think it is within the power of, let's say, the task force or the NBI or the AMLC or the PACC, which are member agencies of the Task Force Against Corruption, to mention this, let's say, members of Congress who are allegedly involved in the particular transaction.
But the President insisted.
Whether or not they can themselves independently of me release the names, sabihin ko na wag.
Senator Panfilo Lacson asks why there seems to be an inconsistency with the way the President treated detained Senator Laila de Lima. It was Duterte's own Department of Justice who investigated and prosecuted the senator, not the ombudsman.
So, anong kaibahan kung iimbestigahan din yung mga congressmen? Dahil ang naintindihan ko, yung patas naman yan eh. It could cut across the different branches of government.
Lacson said the task force against corruption the President created a few weeks ago should handle all investigations, including those involving legislators. The task force has said it has received around 60 complaints so far. But presidential spokesperson Harry Roque distinguishes de Lima's case from those of the lawmakers.
Si Laila de Lima naman po, one of a kind. Kasi kay Laila de Lima, napakalakas ng ebidensya na talagang involved siya doon sa kalakalagan ng pinagbabawal na droga.
Just recently, de Lima's camp said the witnesses presented by the prosecution, both convicts and government officials alike, all admitted on the witness stand that they do not have personal knowledge of the center's supposed involvement in the illegal drug trade. The President had also previously released a drug matrix which implicated judges, which then Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno immediately objected to. Sereno would later be kicked out of office in a move initiated by the President's Solicitor General. Again, Roque said the lawmakers' cases can't be compared to those of the judges.
Ang problema po dito sa mga ebidensya sa congressmen, di umano, merong mga proyekto na linuto ang bidding at ibinigay sa contractor na favored na nagbibigay ng porsyento sa kanya. So parang ang dami pong mga ebidensyang kinakailangan na hindi naman po hawak ng presidente ng personal. No?
Ombudsman Samuel Martires is open to give out a suggestion to revive the resident ombudsman in each government agency, but said they lack the necessary personnel. He suggested deputizing the DOJ's prosecutors and hiring more personnel for the Ombudsman's field investigation and public assistance units.
Via Times, vital news, vibrant views for the Filipino Asian communities in Chicago. Via Times for your most interesting and exciting reading and your party coverages. Via Times has very interesting columnists. You name it, Via Times has it. Law, Filipino news, dentistry, immigration, humor, serious opinions, health, beauty, mysticism, Bata Corner, showbiz, and intelligently written editorials. Call Via Times at 773-866-0811.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica's segment of the show. Today, I have a very interesting guest, a very popular and well-noted poet. And she originated from the country of Ghana, and she now is a resident of Michigan. But she was educated in UK. Help me welcome Miss Apua Serva Ose Bonzu. Did I say your name right?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Welcome to our show,
Thank you.
Miss Poet. I really admire poets like you, and how I wish I could be a poet. I could write poems, and it takes a lot of creativity. I know that. And so, welcome to our show. When did you start writing poetry?
Oh, early in my career, I started writing poetry. I do even a little bit of songwriting. I have a lot of cadence to my poetry, and I guess I wonder what originally led me to it, but it was so many years ago.
Okay. Do you have some kind of inspiration, or when you write your poem? Where do you get your inspiration from?
Mostly. Let me see. I work with different themes. Usually, I'll helm a collection, and then I work with a variety of themes, a variety of issues, and usually they're global issues and things that are plaguing society, and sometimes they're simple and poignant ways of discussing things going on, like poverty or issues in the world.
You like to write about social issues.
Yeah, about social issues.
Social
Mhm.
issues.
Mhm.
All right. Very good. The first question we would like to discuss is about this book about Oh Mother, Oh Mother. And it is addressing poverty. Can you discuss that book about?
Yeah, that one's actually a poem. It's a poem. It goes, "Oh mother, give and never stop giving. Oh mother, my need does not end. Oh mother, oh mother, if the faucet should turn off. Oh mother."
All right. Okay, and that was followed by the poor little girl.
That poor old girl is
That poor old girl.
okay. That poor old girl is it's kind of about textiles and sewing and things. You know, that poor old girl strips the buttons from discarded dresses. She strips the zips. She strips the cuffs. She strips the collar and hem. She strips the sleeves. She strips a nice yoke. That poor old girl from old dresses, she pieces a quilt. That poor old girl grows a big piece of cloth out of scraps. That poor old girl is braiding the selvage. That poor old girl coils and stitches the braids to make a hat. That poor old girl saves for tomorrow. That poor old girl saves for tomorrow today.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And that was followed by Freedom Song.
Oh, Freedom Song is
You're trying to convey.
okay. The Freedom Song is it's kind of about it goes I don't want to think about slavery. I want to think about freedom. I don't care you don't like me. I got laws to protect me. I don't want to think about races. I got better things to think about. Okay, so
Are you some kind of a radical person? No.
maybe a little bit. I'm on the ground. I'm on the ground. I want to overturn some of these old ideas and work with unbranding and work with bias proofing and things. But I don't know if I consider myself a radical or just really a problem solver, a humanitarian.
Do you oh, in your books, do you emphasize your love of English, the English language?
Oh yeah, I'm a scholar of English. I research English, so you'll find a lot of little word pairings and things where I'm like actually looking at the language. I've looked at the mechanics of the language. I'm writing a book about writing. I've looked at it from many different angles. I want to get a degree next in like TESOL and like look at it like really mechanically the language. I really am somehow in the midst of writing poetry, I fell in love with the English language. It's something that maybe I took for granted. That's something really beautiful and special to me.
Terrific. How about your characters in your poems? How do you develop your characters?
Uh, um, well, I have different voices and different things I use to develop different characters. I have one main character that's Little Jen. Okay, Little Jen shows up in 3 collections of poetry so far, but he's meant to be like some kind of MIT professor, some kind of a lover or a lover lost, or just a madness. Little Jen, it's something kind of out of like Arabian Nights. Something kind of uh, out of like to deal with this magic. How even like South Skin can have a Jinn, or different things have a Jinn. Yeah. So anyway, I read about this Jinn. You know, and originally it was going to be its own book, Little Jinn, but then it became like this character. And so anyway, I have this character, Little Jen.
Is a Little Jen real or imagined character?
Both. Little Jen is both like based on a real person and based on like the kind like a madness. So he's both a real person and a madness.
I see. You also like to touch about the subject of mankind, humanity, and wisdom. How do you develop those themes in your poems?
Okay, well, Values of Man was really dealing with I thought we really needed to, at this juncture, really start to value man deliberately. That there was a devaluation of mankind. So that's why I placed the title there, to have the title be its own campaign, to really to inspire man to value men. Okay. Um for I see, but so anyway, this is my own little campaign for valuation. Okay. Um okay, and beyond that, um I see myself chiefly as a humanitarian, which I feel is a kind of antidote, which I feel is a kind of antidote to a lot of things that have occurred. And I think valuation was one aspect that I was looking at in this book to really challenge the current status quo.
Okay. How do you see yourself in your poetry? In in each poetry that you write, do you see yourself?
Do I see myself? Yeah, I guess I do see myself. I see myself as, I like to sweeten. I like language. I like storytelling. I like these kind of perennials, and I kind of like let me see. Some of my poetry is like very, I guess I felt powerful in my poetry. I felt powerful. I felt the ability to really do many things with poetry. That you might write just one fiction novel, but with poetry, maybe there was a kind of liberty there to address many, many things with a poem.
You think that you can convey your message out there through poetry than just by writing stories?
Um, I think poetry is kind of can be a lean and condensed. I come from like Ghanaians, I come from like proverb writing. I come from like proverb writing. When I first started writing, I was writing proverbs. And so I like a kind of lean power, like a kind of where it's like a really meaty, lean, kind of like it can be intelligence or it can be kind of something for teaching but so poetry I think has the ability to send strong messages. Easy, it's very easily memorable. I think you can get into all kinds of nooks and crannies and all kinds of very like social areas and lots of different areas like maturity or refinement or even beauty. I think you can cultivate beauty or wisdom.
All right. Those are the messages you want to convey out there.
Yeah.
Beauty, wisdom, and social issues.
Mm.
And wow, I salute you for what you're doing. And do you do this full time? Writing?
Pretty much I've been writing poetry for several years. Yeah, I'll do a variety of things. I also work for organizations like Washington Literacy. I tutor in ESL. I tutor in so there's a lot of different things I do. And I work with nonprofits. I work with a variety of things in Michigan. Um, but I do write. I guess you could write full time. I guess I have a dedicate a lot of time to it.
Terrific. Okay. Where can our viewers find your books?
My books will be available on Amazon.com around the world. So you can look for them on Amazon.com. There's also a website coming out, Afua Osebansu without the hyphen, OSCIBONSU.com, that will also have a link to my books on it. There are these three poetry books will be on Westwood Publishing, and then they'll also be available through Westwood.
I know you will not stop writing poetry. Okay. So, is there a sequel to this last poetry that you wrote? Are you planning to write another book of poetry after this?
Yeah, I'm working on another book right now. Those three are finished. I'm working on another book called Sego Poem that deals with it's wisdom writing. It's really more towards being more of a sage book or wisdom writing.
Great. Terrific. One last word before we sign off to our viewers. What can you say?
Okay. Well, I want to say I'm a strong supporter of DEI and diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think there are a lot of competencies and scenarios that people are using to really change thinking and patterns in society to start to make corrections and teach people so they have the tools to function harmoniously in society with new knowledge, with new thinking.
Terrific, Miss Afua. Miss Afua Bonzu. Miss Afua Serwa Ose Bonzu. That was a mouthful. I really enjoy talking to you. And don't forget to get in touch with us again for your next book. And so we can talk about your nice poetry. You sent us a copy of your book, right?
Oh, okay, great. I would love to. Mhm.
All right. For good luck to you for your future projects and keep in touch.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right. Maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood. Ako po si Veronica. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Objectively Yours portion of the show. And I'm Joe Mauricio. Today, we have very interesting topic. We're going to talk about human interest. And the human interest is focused on this beautiful, good-looking Latina girl. Okay, welcome to the show, Magali Castro.
Oh, hi. My name is Magali Castro. I came from Mexico when I was 13 years old. I've been in Chicago since I was 13 years old. I'm in my third year of apprentice with the carpenter, and I work for bugs.
Well, how did this opportunity help you in your lifetime?
This opportunity helped me a lot because I've been working in many different stuff. So I'm doing many things, and those things is going to be a great opportunity. It's going to be a great future for me and my family. I'm buying my new home, and I'm paying my students college.
Oh my God. What's RPM? We always hear about RPM. What's RPM?
IPM is a project it's involved with other red line, the purple and red line CCA. So it's a big project. We're gonna have that project going on for many years. That's what I know. So it's a big project that is gonna have many stations, new stations open for the public. It's gonna be a lot of work for many people in Chicago.
Oh, well, what are the criteria for their selection? How do they pick you?
How did they pick me?
Yeah.
You know what? I was working in another different company, and I got a call from one of my friends and then reaching Williamson because one of the guys and one of the main supervisors and the company needed a chance. His name is Bill Griffin. So I think after that, I've been having a lot of people helping me out, teaching me, and bring me to the project. And it's an amazing opportunity because I'm learning from everybody. There's many people helping me in this project. It's a big project.
What advice can you give to teenagers like you?
Especially for us, young students or teenagers or everyone knows. I want to show you one thing. Do it right. Keep going. Do it with passion. Because if you have any dream, you're always those dreams are gonna become true. Then keep going. Look strong. Don't go back. This is a great career. It's gonna be an awesome future for your family and for the most of the people that are joining this career.
Yes. And I'd like to add on to don't be afraid to fail because failure is also part of success. So remember that. Give advice to kids that after high school they're looking for something beautiful like this, beautiful opportunity. Very seldom you'll get opportunity like this, and take advantage of that. And you used to work with the CTA. What kind of can you tell me about while you were in the CTA program?
No, I am working at the with the CCA. I only been working on the project. I never have the opportunity to work straight with the CCA, only in this project, but I work for Waltz Construction. So Waltz is the one that bring me to work in this project.
How'd you get involved with the project? Let's say, I'm a high school graduate and I would like to get involved into a project like that. Who do I talk to? What do I need to do just to get involved with the project? What did you do?
I got in contact with one of the schools. Her name is Chicago Women in the Trade. It was a program. It's a training center where they teach you and they get you involved working by hand. And you pick the what career you want to see. You have many careers. One of the careers that I have is the carpenter. So I decided to be a carpenter. So I joined that apprentice.
You are a carpenter. That's nice for a girl. Hey, you have a lot of competition there on the yeah, and you succeed in being what you are now. So hey, congratulations. But the RPM phase one, what is it?
RPM is ramp. I kind of don't know how to explain it to you, but I think that the RPM project is one of the biggest projects in worldwide in CPA.
What? Let's say the kids after high school, graduating from high school, and and the opportunities are available to them. How do they solicit that? How do they look for that opportunity?
Okay, we have a website, the training center for the carpentry. We have a website, and you should go and find a training center for carpenters in Chicago. You go to the website and you follow step by step. You enroll, just open an application, and they're gonna send you an email telling you how you can start applying, what kind of when they're gonna have applications open, and what kind of paperwork you need to join it. Then after they send you the email, you bring all the paperwork ready, and they'll give you an appointment to start getting the paperwork done. And now you join it. They teach. They have a class. They have they call CL. It's a class, a training for 16 weeks. I believe it's 16 weeks, and working by hand, and they'll teach. Then after that, you join the apprentice.
Is that in high school or college? Where's this class at?
It's a training center. It's a training center that I'm students. It's more like a training, trade. They call them trade.
Oh, a training center for trade school. And
Yes.
where's that at? Where's that thing located? Is that sponsored by the city of Chicago or business?
It's the training center for the students is one of the open. We have the office in Chicago, and the training center for the school. We have another one in Echo Village. So it's 1256 West Avenue in Echo Village.
Okay, now share something to our viewing audience, your experience, and on how you could help the other people to join your ranks.
Okay, so first of all, I love my work.
Yes.
I know what to do. I do it with many classes. I know I think wow because they give me this opportunity first of all. So I think this opportunity is very, very important for me because this is gonna be my great future. And my opportunity more than opportunity that I have is that I've been learning with many people. So they treat me like a family, it's like they teach me many different jobs every day so I can become a carpenter, completely carpenter.
You are a certified carpenter, right? Are you? And Anybody who would like to contact you for a carpentry work, how would they do that?
Okay, so you have to contact the training center first, and you gotta let them know that you need a job with it, and they'll put you in a list, and they will send you to the company, so then you apply, and when you apply, the company gives you an interview, and that's how you can join. But it's not only the training center that they can do it. Also, you can contact any office from Walsh. Go and apply. I invite you to apply to the company. They have many opportunities for great students. It's awesome, you know. They have a lot of stuff for the students.
Yeah, but it's got to be at least equal opportunity, male, female. And you succeeded. So you must be doing something right. Are you afraid of height?
No,
You're not?
that's one thing I love. That's one thing I love. I love the high.
Okay. In my background is the Sears Tower. If somebody called you, Magali, I want you to change the bulb at the top of the Sears Tower. Can you do that?
Yes, yes. Actually,
Good for you. All right. Again, this is
before.
well. Thank you for opportunity to share your experience with the small companies. And again, if they are interested in carpentry work, go to the trade center, right?
Yes, what's the training center school? Because carpenter training center.
And there's no cost.
Yes. Then you just gotta call them for the number and Google it or either go to carpentertrainingcenter.com and you will find anything in there.
Okay, Magali, thank you very much for sharing your Sunday with us and sharing the opportunity and gratitude to to the companies that sponsor you. Again, this is Joe Mauricio. Thank you very much for sharing your Sunday with us, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Magali.
It's more fun in the Philippines.
This is Janet Jordy at Global Inspiration, where you need to be seen, need to be heard, and be an inspiration to the world. Our guest this week cringes when I ask her to describe herself based on her resume, and she wants and she prefers to be introduced as a woman, a lawyer, and a mother of four because she firmly believes that what she has done in the past, the present, and the future are based on this description. She is Angela Librado, Trinidad. She is the Philippine Labor Attaché to United States and Caribbean islands. As a woman, she advocates for women's rights and women empowerment. She has been a member of Davao City Council for 9 years under the leadership of the then mayor and now President Duterte. She authored legislations that became laws, and these legislation are focused on gender inequalities and also for violence against women and girl children and women's health and reproductive clinic. She was also a barangay captain. As a lawyer, she handled primarily cases of women physically abused, psychologically, and economically. In 2010, she co-founded Women in Law, a firm focused on legally advocating for rights of women and girl children. As a labor attaché, she affirms being all this, a woman, a lawyer, and a mother of four, carry the voice of OFW or Overseas Filipino Workers. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Attorney Angela Librado, Trinidad.
Good afternoon, Attorney Angela Librado. Global Inspiration is so honored to have you today as our guest as the Philippine Labor Attaché. But today, we will not be talking about your position. We will be talking with you as a woman, as a lawyer, and as a mother of four. And thank you very much for having you as our guest today. Talking about food, the first time, the second time that I brought my son again to the Philippines, we butcher or we had a chicken, Visayan chicken, native chicken. And he used to eat the broiler one. And he told me, what kind of chicken is that? That is really good. That is tasty. Because even though we have eggplants here, you have to go to the Asian store because the eggplants here in America are round and they don't taste the same. I agree with you. I agree with you. So going back to being the labor attaché, can you mention or can you share with the viewers the two accomplishments that you consider and the two challenges being the Philippine labor attaché?
Thank you, Janet. I I came in at the time when I guess
Mhm.
there are a lot of Filipinos who have lost their trust in government,
Mhm.
probably because there is the lack of it or the absence of care that they are expecting. And one of the challenges I was facing when I came in was on how to gain their trust and to make them feel that the government under President Duterte and us who are serving with him are actually genuinely listening to what they have to say, and not only listen to what they have to say, but to work towards accomplishing what they would want us to accomplish with respect to their issues and concerns. So I remember one time when I was trying to introduce myself just to a group of Filipinos, and they were so cold. And my first reaction was to ask myself, why are they doing this? Are they not acknowledging that I am also a Filipino? But then I came to realize that because of the experience that they have
Mhm.
asking for help, and maybe at one point they have not been helped
Mhm.
or they have not even been responded to.
Correct.
So it was really very difficult. That's one challenge that I really thought was very frustrating and very challenging at the same time.
Correct.
And I think the accomplishment with respect to that, we have been carrying this tagline, reaching out to deliver services for you. If you would notice, it's Rodi. It's after President Duterte's name. We would want to bring the Philippine government and the labor office closer to the people. And I hope we were able to do that by going to them, reaching out to them to different media, visiting them physically whenever it was possible. And now, because of the pandemic,
Mhm.
and if there is only one thing that's positive about the pandemic is that we could reach them anywhere and we could mount meetings with them any time of the day because we could do that through Zoom meetings. So I am hoping that this is one accomplishment that our office has been able to do, bringing Philippine government and the services that we can give closer to them and making them feel that we are not just here to listen to them, but we are here to work with them.
We are so blessed having you as the Philippine labor attaché because your heart belongs to the Filipino people. I have so many friends who are Filipino, our brothers and sisters. So can you name two, can you share with the viewers two or three, maybe just one, projects that you're working right now, and how can we support being Filipinos to the success of that project?
Thank you, Janet. I think you've mentioned at one point that you are into this campaign against trafficking and
Right.
for women empowerment, and we are very much into that. In fact, this November we will be launching a series of activities, one of which is a webinar on violence or against violence against women. It's a campaign that we have been launching since 2018 because we know that there are some of our Filipinos who either are afraid to come out
Correct.
or who are too embarrassed to admit to
Mhm.
everyone that they need to
Mhm.
be helped. Just last week, we have received complaints of those who have been granted K1 or spouse visas who have been abused again by their partners. And this is one thing that we would want to really focus on, making sure that our Filipinos, including our migrant workers in the Caribbean islands, are helped. And second, we are also into institutionalizing standards for our labor, for our workers. Hopefully, and fingers crossed, we might be able to come up with labor agreements with some of our Caribbean islands so that our standards are at least proximate to the standards of those in the Caribbean islands. But I'm not saying that their standards are not good. They are actually as good as ours, but we want to make sure that we are in unity with all the standards that we would want to set with respect to our workers.
We would like to welcome all of you to Baladna Jewelry. We have a very big selection of 21 karat gold jewelry imported from the Middle East, from Dubai, Saudi, and Bahrain. And we have a very big selection of diamond. We offer free financing for 6 months, and we have a layaway system which you can leave your stuff for 3 months. We repair gold and we buy old gold. Welcome to Baladna Jewelry.
Salamat po.
Good afternoon. This is Bridget Carino Quetter bringing you this week's local news from our community. President Donald Trump on Wednesday pardoned former National Security Advisor Lieutenant General Michael Flynn in the midst of a 4-year criminal case. It is my great honor to announce that General Michael T. Flynn has been granted a full pardon. Congratulations to @Gen Flynn and his wonderful family. I know you will now have a truly fantastic Thanksgiving, Trump wrote on Twitter on Wednesday afternoon. Flynn had pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI about speaking to a Russian diplomat during President Trump's 2016 transition period. But Flynn, who is represented by high-profile attorney Sidney Powell, withdrew his plea before sentencing. Friends of the Israel Defense Forces Midwest Region supporters David and Susan Kreisman have pledged a gift of $2 million to FIDF's Wounded Soldiers program. The official announcement took place during a meeting on Friday with FIDF Midwestern Region Executive Director Tamir Oppenheim and Or Yellen, a 27-year-old Israel Defense Forces wounded veteran, during Yellen's visit to Chicago. Founder and vice chairman of Logs Legal Network, David Kreisman, is a high-profile member of the city of Chicago and is deeply invested in philanthropy. The FIDF Wounded Soldiers program partners with Brothers for Life to help disabled and newly injured Israeli combat soldiers put the pieces of their lives back together following a severe wound, injury, or trauma. Reverend Ezekiel Sanchez, rector of the Shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Des Plaines, Illinois, announced that celebrations of the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe at the shrine on December 11th and 12th are canceled due to the ongoing pandemic. After consultation with Cardinal Blaise Cupich, archdiocesan and governmental officials on the severity of the local course of the pandemic, it was determined that protecting the health and safety of the thousands of pilgrims who yearly visit the shrine is best accomplished by closing the shrine grounds and live streaming services. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused much hardship and pain for so many, said Father Sanchez. The message of comfort offered by Our Lady of Guadalupe to St. Juan Diego, "Am I not here, I who am your mother," extends particularly to us today. While we cannot observe this feast as we have in the past, it is still a time for prayer, petition, and hope. The Cook County Board of Commissioners approved a balance of $6.94 billion FY 2021 budget developed through an equity lens and aimed at advancing Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle's work on criminal justice reform, public health, infrastructure, and economic development without the need to increase existing taxes. The unanimous 17-0 votes approving the budget follows a month of departmental hearings, commissioner questions, and public meetings. This is a balanced budget without tax increases that makes millions of dollars in important equity investments made possible because of our hard work, tough decisions, and avoiding quick fixes, said President Preckwinkle. Attorney General Kwame Raoul, along with Connecticut Attorney General William Tong and Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, led a coalition of 46 attorney generals in announcing a $17.5 million settlement with the Home Depot. The settlement resolves a multi-state investigation of a 2014 data breach, which exposed the payment card information of approximately 40 million Home Depot consumers nationwide. Illinois will receive more than $1.3 million. The breach occurred when hackers gained access to the Home Depot's network and deployed malware that enabled them for a period of time to obtain the payment card information of Home Depot customers who use self-checkout lanes at Home Depot stores throughout the U.S. As the weather gets colder, the number of home fires increases. This past week, volunteers with the Red Cross were at work responding to fires across Chicagoland and providing comfort to those impacted. From November 16th through today, Red Cross volunteers responded to 13 home fires in Berwyn, Bolingbrook, Calumet Park, Round Lake Beach, and more. 7 of these fires took place in Chicago, including 5 incidents in multi-unit buildings. One of these home fires occurred on the 800 block of East 82nd Street in the Chatham neighborhood, where our volunteers assisted 13 families that were affected. Over the weekend in Inglewood, a house fire with a fatality unfortunately occurred. In total, the Red Cross helped 96 individuals, including 68 adults and 28 children, with temporary emergency lodging, health and mental health services, financial assistance, and recovery planning. Thank you for watching our news this week. This is Bridget. See you next time.
Okay, ready guys? Introducing our new Energy Star certified washer and dryer. Thanks to rebates from ComEd.
Yay! We love rebates! Ay, Daniel, we are famous.
Get used to it. When you use less water and electricity, people notice.
I can get used to that.
So can I.
Take it easy.
Get rebates from ComEd on select Energy Star certified appliances and find even more savings with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program. ComEd, powering lives.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. This is Melody Dizon, your Health Matters host. Windburn can affect our skin, and so we're gonna tackle more on that so we can have a healthy, glowy skin for the winter. As you can see, my outfit is for the cold. I don't want to wear a hat, as I know you guys wear a hat to conserve heat and energy, and as well as gloves. So anyway, without further ado, it asks, what is actually a windburn, and what are the symptoms, treatments, and prevention techniques that we can use to prevent such. So to say the least, if you've ever walked down a city street like in downtown Michigan in early January, or hit the slopes after a big snow, you've probably felt it. Yep, that's what we call the windburn. But while many people think of that red, puffy skin as an unavoidable symptom of cold weather, it's actually a bit more damaging than you might assume. So here's what you need to know about windburn and the skin damage it can cause as the temperature continue to drop. And just another reason for us to always wear the right protective clothing. So what is windburn? Well, windburn is a type of skin irritation. Basically, the top layer of our skin gets damaged, and we end up with dry, red, and flaky skin. It usually occurs after an exposure to low temperature, low humidity, and abrasiveness of the wind. The cold, dry air irritates the skin and causes redness through blood vessel dilatation. So the harsh elements also work to strip away the sebum or the oils from the top layer of your skin. Windburn breaks down your protective skin barrier and leaves a sensitive second layer of the skin exposed, which lowers the skin's ability to retain moisture, increases its interactions with possible irritants, and lead to dryness and inflammation. It can also happen in tandem with sunburn. Yeah, that's right. Windburn can happen with sunburn. Though they're two different conditions, the Cancer Foundation points out that wind intensifies the effect of the ultraviolet rays, helping shed the outer layer of skin and leaving the inner layers exposed and susceptible to sun damage. So this overlap is why windburn can often feel like sunburn or be intermixed with one another. But if you're not wearing SPF in the snow, which reflects UV light, you should be doing that, because UV rays can go right through clouds and are present even in the cold winter's months. Correct. So like when you're sitting down in your patio and you see the glare of the snow by the reflection, that in itself is a UV ray. So you ought to be wearing UV protected eyes or an UV protected skin. So what are the symptoms of windburn? Well, because the symptoms of windburn can often mimic the symptoms of sunburn, and because the two can often happen together, it can be hard to identify which one you have. But overall, if you've been outside for a prolonged period of time in very cold, windy weather and your skin is red and feels like it's burned, well, you most likely have a windburn. Other symptoms of windburn include there's blisters in severe cases, there's dryness, there's inflammation, there's peeling, there's redness or flushed pigmentation of the skin, and it's sensitive to touch. Well, some pre-existing conditions or previous skin treatments can also possibly put you at a higher risk of windburn. People with psoriasis or eczema tend to have skin that gets irritated so easily. So those conditions increase the probability of getting windburn if you're out in cold conditions. In office or at-home treatments that involves acids and exfoliating the top layer of the skin also make your skin more susceptible to windburn. So these procedures includes peels and dermabrasions, and dermatologists recommend using sunscreen after those types of procedures to prevent the UV rays from burning the skin, and using a hydrating lotion to keep the skin moisturized. So that's why when I go home to the Philippines, I usually have my dermabrasion or any kind of facial procedures after they ask me, "Are you still going to the beach, ma'am? Are you still gonna be under the sun?" Because if I'm gonna have that treatment, then it defeats the whole purpose, because I'm going to be re-exposing a sensitive layer of my skin out in the sun. So how can you treat and prevent windburn? Well, if you should fall victim to this winter skin affliction, treatment involves just taking extra care of that now delicate and inflamed skin. Dermatologists recommend using a gentle cleanser, lots of moisturizer, a humidifier, and if possible, and not blasting hot air out of your thermostat, as the hot air can worsen the dryness of the windburn. So you want to use a thick moisturizer, wear the SPF outside, and caution you against itchy winter fabrics that could rub and further irritate the skin. So yeah, those outfits can go if it makes it worse for you. So pain relievers such as Tylenol helps reduce inflammation and help with pain if necessary. And you can also use ingredients such as aloe, oatmeal, and cucumber, which are cooling and have antioxidant properties. And adding to these products, you shouldn't have any fragrances towards it. So as an added note, drinking water is always an easy step to rehydrate your skin. And the duration of healing depends on the severity of the windburn. Like sunburn, mild cases can take few days, whereas more severe cases could take several weeks. So if your windburn results in large areas of blisters, severe pain, or other serious symptoms, well, you should seek your physician for assistance. As far as prevention goes, it all comes down to protecting the surface layer of your skin. And during the cold months, and especially on an extremely cold day, you want to limit your exposure to cold, dry winds by wearing long sleeves, layers, scarves, gloves, and hats is a good defense against windburn. And the mask, don't forget the mask. And if you are out in cold temperatures with skin exposed, the Skin Cancer Foundation recommends limiting the amount of time you spend outside and applying a rich emollient sunscreen every 2 hours. The more moisturized skin you have, the less likely it is to become dry and damaged quickly. So folks, that is my tip for this week, how to take care of your skin as we approach into the winter months. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. This is Melody Dizon, your Health Matters host. Thank you.
We came to the portion that everybody was waiting for, the birthday celebrants of the month or of the week. So I like to wish these people happy birthday. Number one, Rosana Loriano, Veronica's cousin from California. Ria Manalo, our former BT columnist. Edwin Tumlos, also a former BT columnist. My kumare, Vicky Belvis, happy birthday, Mare. And again, a good friend, Joe Flores. Happy birthday, Joe. And also a very good friend, Ruth Watson. Happy birthday, Ruth. And lastly, Annalyn Salmarine Deer. Happy birthday, Annalyn. And also, we would like to congratulate the wedding anniversary of Chi and Jimmy Rivas. Hi, Jaime, how are you? This is Joe wishing you all congratulations for the wedding anniversary. Ako po si Joe Mauricio. Maraming salamat sa inyong panonood.